cool. So these pictures look really good.
Thank you. They're so different, like the color.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the metadata here. Okay, so you're at f2.8 you were your white balance was manual, so I don't know if maybe you did something to your white balance.
I didn't mean to.
Okay, well, it's fine. I mean, the colors don't look horrible or anything. Is that like the color of your wall, or is it like a different color? It kind of looks a little yellow.
The wall is like a light. It's textured, and it's like a light cream / beige. It's hideous.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see.
That's the chandelier. We put the shelf up a little too high, so I have to get it on a chair.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is easy to fix. I don't know if this is better white balance wise. But I can also, I'll just run the perfect white balance on it and see what it comes up with, because it looks like it has a little bit of a greenish yellow cast to it. So let's go ahead and open this up in Photoshop. This looks pretty good. Maybe just a tad bit over exposed, not like really, but maybe just a tad bit. I'm just bringing down the blacks and the highlights a little bit.
Do that again. Start over. Sorry, I was looking
at. It's not really like overexposed. I'm basically just moving these to kind of just give it some contrast a little bit. It was kind of lacking a little bit of contrast. So I moved the blacks down a little bit. I moved the shadows up a tiny bit, and I moved the highlights up a tiny bit.
Okay.
And I'm just moving those. I mean, it's exposure-wise, it's good. I was just giving it some more contrast. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in Photoshop. And then let's run the perfect white balance on it and just see. That's a little bit too strong. We're going to pull it down a little bit. Now this vase is pure white, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You think that's what's messing with it? No,
since I know the vase is pure white, I'm just pulling up the slider until the vase looks white. Okay. It doesn't have like any, like it's not like if I do this, the vase is too blue, but if I go all the way down here, the vase is too yellow. So I'm just doing it until the vase is kind of like, so about like 40% is good. So the vase is white. It's not like, it actually needs a little bit more. I think it's still a little. Okay, so like about 52%, I guess. And then I am going to get rid of this first. So I'm just going to duplicate the background. I'm going to show you how to get rid of that real quick. That's easy to get rid of. So we're just going to duplicate the background. And I'm just going to use this lasso tool here. And I'm just going to click. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just clicking around this right here. And making a selection like that. Okay. And now I'm going to right click on this layer and go to fill, content aware. And that should fill it in nicely. Yeah. So that just got rid of it. So that was pretty easy to take care of.
Cool.
So, so like exposure wise, this looks good. I am going to add a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to do a contrast boost on it. And that's just kind of like it's subtle. Whoops, wrong one. Let's pull this up. It's a subtle change, but see how it just adds a little bit of more depth here. So that looks good. And then really the lighting in this image is really good. I mean, you don't have any like really harsh shadows or anything like that. So it looks pretty good. And then like, I mean, really, you don't really need to do much to it. So I'm going to do crisp finish. And I think 50% is enough there. So then all I would do with this one is, you know, just do your square crop or whatever. And maybe just bring it up a little bit here. And do the content aware crop. Hold on, let me go back here and make sure I'm on the background here. Okay, so I just do like a square crop. I am going to bring it up a little bit just to, because I want this medallion more in the middle. So I did bring it up a little bit, but I don't want it to be too weird. Okay. The only other thing I would do is maybe hang this a little higher. Just composition wise, it's a little weird.
Okay. I have other pictures.
Okay.
Where it's higher. I wasn't sure. I didn't send it to you. These are all,
okay.
I wanted to keep it all the same. So you would recommend making it a little higher. Okay.
Yeah, because see, okay, so like when you look at it composition wise, when you're on your crop screen, it has these guides.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that your guides are set to the rule of thirds, because whatever the interesting points or the points that you want the eye drawn to should be in these intersections here. That's a composition rule. The composition rule is rule of thirds. And so the rule of thirds says that the interesting points of the image should be at these intersections. So like if this was a person, you would want one of the eyes in these intersections here. So when I crop this, I can crop it in tighter and do this, but then it makes, so, or you want it to be in the middle. So you either want it to be in like one of these intersections or you want it to be in the middle. So with this being so low, to crop it in the middle here without, I mean, I'd have to either bring it down here, and I don't know, I mean, you'd have to figure out some way to fill this in down here. It's not going to look natural though. And then see, this is better. I mean, see how it's like better composition with this here and then this in the middle. If this was higher though, then you could still have the shelf be the bottom, and like really the medallion should be right about here.
Okay.
So you do want the medallion a little higher.
Now you couldn't do, you know how you stretched it up? You couldn't stretch it down?
You can. I don't know what it's going to do, but let's see what it looks like.
Because it's just a shelf on the wall. So the bottom of the, oh, I see, because I don't have the whole shelf on the,
yeah, you don't have the whole shelf. So it's going to do something weird like this.
Yeah.
Now
okay.
you could then take this and like make a rectangular selection. It's just not going to look natural. So I could make a rectangular selection here and then do a new layer and do like my clone tool here.
Yeah, that might be a little too far advanced for me.
Yeah. But it's sorry, actually I went on here. And then I can clone in this wall down here, but it's gonna, like, there's not gonna be any shadows or anything, so it's gonna look, I'll just show you, because I think, I mean, showing you is like the best way to just kind of, I think, explain it. And it doesn't take long to do this. Okay, so then let me just, okay, so see how, I mean, you can kind of fake it, but since, like, if this was really like a shelf, it would have some kind of like, something. So that looks a little, and there's no shadow or anything. And then, you know, I guess I could add in a shadow and stuff, but then you're getting into this whole, like, it's better, you know, it's always better to just try to get it right in camera than to try to like make something there that's not there. So,
But yeah,
So
that does look really nice when I have the whole shelf in it. I was just trying to get.
I'm
No,
just going
that
back.
looks nice. I like it like that. Why can't I? Why haven't I been doing it that way?
So I think like, I mean, because there were some other pictures that you did. Let me find your pictures here.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with Dropbox. Like, it doesn't have a lot of space. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think I'm doing it right.
Okay. Well, because I gave you a folder and you should be able to upload it to my Dropbox, which then means that you're
See, I
not
don't
going to
know how to
have.
do that.
Okay. So see this one. I mean, I don't know if this is the same shelf or whatever, but
No.
like with this image, like I know it's too dark and everything, but see how this is like higher. So like if I were to crop this one, I'm just going to open it without doing anything just to show you composition.
Okay.
If I'm to crop this one, I can crop it with the mandala being in the middle here, kind of like this, and it's still like an interesting composition. Where like with this one, it just look how much better your photography is getting though. It's getting a lot better. So yeah, like with this one, I feel like it needs to be about there.
Okay.
So you need to bring it up probably, I don't know. I mean, if you were going to use this face, which I like this face, I like the look of it, you probably want the mandala like hanging like right about here, like in line with these, like the grass here kind of.
Okay.
So you can then, or you could have the mandala here, but you would need to shoot lower so you have the bottom part of the shelf as well.
Okay. Now for continuity's sake in my store,
yes,
I'm pretty much, for right now, I'm using this shelf.
Okay.
And if you see the setup that I have, it's pretty comical because like I'm on a chair as far back as I can possibly go, leaning down, and like, you saw the chandelier in the in the pic.
Yeah.
So would you recommend having the shelf with the wall space down at the bottom? Kind of like
okay,
yeah,
so this is like that, okay. I don't think that that's horrible. I mean, you would need to be even lower, right. But I mean, it's showing, but this is lifestyle. So you're showing kind of like how it could be styled in their house. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's okay to kind of show the shelf, but I do like how you're getting these other angles and everything here. So I like how you're like, thinking about getting the other angles and stuff here. I just think, like, I really think that this one composition-wise would be better if it was hanging just a little higher, which I know is hard with your chandelier. But as long as your chandelier is like in this image where it's not like over anything, that's pretty easy to fix with just content aware, like we did. You just need to be careful with the chandelier, like in this one, just because of like where you are and where the chandelier is. Like, see how it goes over a little bit of the grass there? That's going to be harder to fix.
Now, if I crop it where,
but if you crop it, let's just go ahead and open. Let's go ahead and open this one. I'm not doing anything to it just because I'm just going to go ahead and open it. I mean, because I think editing wise, I mean, we've done editing for a couple of weeks. So I think like editing wise, hopefully you're getting the hang of that. But we have one more call, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So today we'll just composition is really important too. So we'll just work on, it's not going to open because I have that.
Yeah, maybe that should be the lesson.
Composition. Yeah.
How to make real, not look so fake.
So the composition on this one is a little better just because, I mean, your angle's a little different. So the composition here is a little better. So this one's not as bad. It's still a little weird, but I think, let's see what content aware does. This one doesn't look horrible. It just makes that shelf look a little thicker. So we could just kind of like fill this in a little bit. Like this little ridge here is a little weird, but we could just go ahead and fill that in. So it just makes it look like a thicker shelf or a thicker table or something.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's not bad composition-wise. It's still a little weird. It'd still look a little bit better if this was a little higher.
Okay.
But yeah, so like there's rules of composition. So looking at these images, so there's center focus. So that's where, you know, the main thing is like right in the center, which this one's not bad. This is almost like center focus. I'm just going to use this crop tool for brevity. Oh, this doesn't give me guidelines though. Oh wait, maybe it will. Show overlay. There we go. Okay, so see, like this would be like center focus composition. Mm-hmm. So that would be good. You can also, like if you had something else here, you know, over here, you could actually kind of bring this over here. Like if you had like a smaller vase over here, and this would be like the rule of thirds where you have your pieces here in the intersection points. So it's not center focus, but it still would be like an interesting image because you could have like a vase over here or something like that. And just to give it a little bit more like a lifestyle look. So actually with like some of your earlier images that you sent me, if I go back here, okay. So like with this one, if I go in to crop it, I could actually like crop it more like here and see how it's in the intersection points.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, okay, it's a little crooked, but let me straighten it up a little bit. Okay. So you could do something like that. So that's like using the rule of thirds. Then there's also leading lines, which you kind of have leading lines here. And leading lines mean that like a plane or a line is leading towards the object that you want to point out. So, I mean, if you had, so like with this one, it's kind of like a leading line. Like this is kind of like a leading line towards the mandala. If you moved out a little bit, if you weren't quite so close and you moved out a little bit, it would be more leading lines. But there is actually a really good, hold on, let me close this. There's actually a really good video, and I thought that I thought that I posted it in the Facebook page on the first week. Oh my gosh, what did I do? I did not type Facebook and just close this. Okay. Apparently I typed something else and I think that was going to do nice things to my computer. Where am I? Page of time. Here we go. Where did I post it? Somewhere over the rainbow. Sorry. Okay, here we go. All right. This composition rules, this one right here.
Oh, okay.
It's a good video. It kind of explains all the different composition rules. I'll send it to you so you don't have to like search and find it.
Okay.
So I would read that because I think that'll help you. I think that'll help you. So you just want to keep in mind, like when you are, like when you're shooting, you want to keep in mind like the rules of composition, just because. And then two, like you have to think like Etsy is showing things like actually like this one isn't horrible. Like it is kind of like center focused, but like you have to think kind of as a square crop because Etsy's thumbnails are a square crop pretty much a square crop. So they're not, so it's like a different ratio. So like what works with this ratio doesn't necessarily work with a square ratio. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's where I show that I haven't uploaded anything to Etsy. So
yeah. So I mean, when you're loading stuff to Etsy, let's go to Etsy for a second. Let's go to Etsy. Apparently, I'm not signed in. I guess I don't need to sign in for. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. All right. Come on. Oh my gosh. My computer's so slow these days. I don't know what I did to it. It was like, I bought it used and it was really fast. I reformatted it, did all that good stuff, and it was like really good. But, all right, let's do home and living here. Okay. So see, like the thumbnails aren't exactly like square, but I mean, they're pretty close to it. So like when you look, a lot of times they're just using like center focus, or I mean, actually like this composition is a little weird actually, because like, but see how you want it, like if you had that sign higher, it's going to show like when they click on it here, and it'll just, like this one is kind of weird because like my eye wants to go here to the middle.
Okay.
Like, you know, and so it's like weird that the sign's down there. Like with these other ones, these make more sense because it's like in the middle. So like you're probably going to utilize like center focus the most, just because center focus is a little easier to do with a square crop.
Okay. Oh, it's so sad. All these signs. Ugh.
But your signs are cooler.
It's so saturated. I try not to.
But everything's saturated. I mean, like graphic design is saturated, product photography is saturated. You just have to be like more awesome, and you will, because you'll have awesome product photography. I mean, really, like Gabby, these pictures are so much better than what you started with. I mean,
I can't wait. At the very end, I want to post a before and an after. But I feel like I'm not quite there yet. So
you're so close though. Like, I mean, really, like, let's just go back to these pictures you sent me.
And really, it's not me, because it has to be I'm very thankful that my mom has this camera, because it really is, you know, like I can't remember I guess I took that with the.
Yeah, I mean, you took this with the same camera, but I mean, look at it. I mean, just, I mean, it's dark. I mean, like the composition's okay and everything. I mean, it was a salvageable picture, but I mean, but lightening this up and everything, it got noisy.
It had a lot of, yeah.
And like with these images that you sent me, I mean, the exposure is like, it's on. It's like spot on. I mean, look at it. I mean, the white balance is a little off, but I mean, that happens. I mean, all right, well, I don't know. Sometimes clicker works, sometimes not. But I mean, yeah, once you like fix the exposure, I mean, the white balance, I mean, look at your histogram. Your histogram goes to like both sides. It's a little short over here, so you can just bring this up a little bit just to kind of give it some more contrast. But I mean, really, I mean, these are so close. They're not, I mean, there's barely anything you need to do to them. And that's where you should be. I mean, So, I mean, your photography is just, I mean, you've grown leap and bounds. That looks really weird. I don't know. I swear there's something wrong with that looks weird too. And sometimes you just have to go in and like auto adjust it. That looks a little better. Which, I mean, and you're going to be a better judge of like what your white balance is, because you know like what color this is. I do suggest though, like if you can, shoot an image with the gray card, it will help you a lot.
I have one. I never use it. I have one.
Because like what you can do with the gray card then is just, it'll sync the white balance over these. It'll just make things easier for you. So like, just, if this was your first image, just put the gray card like over the mandala or whatever, and then just, and then you could just sync them up. Like you could open these all in Camera Raw, and then, select them all.
So where would it's like on a little keychain, kind of like yours is, but I don't think
you could just like hang it over this or something.
Okay.
And then like, it's just going to sync them all up and make them look consistent. And then you can also do the same.
Product?
What?
Does it have to be over the sign?
Well, I would probably put it, you'd want it, you could maybe put it on the table or whatever, like prop it up here on the table, like stand it up, like right here or something. Like right under the mandala and on the table, just prop it up so you can see it. They do have like bigger gray cards.
I think mine is small.
Yeah, for your product, because you have such a big product, you may want something more like this. They have different types. But there are also.
Let me go run and get mine real quick. Hold
on. Like there's this kind, which are still really cheap. I don't know how big is this one. Like this one's a foot. This is 12 by 12 inches.
Oh yeah, no, mine's not that big.
You don't need like the 3 combo, but like you can get the one where it's just the gray and see how it just would stand up there, and it's bigger. It's like 12 by 12. It's like a foot by a foot. Yeah. So or they have something like this.
The size of a credit card.
Yeah, that's probably going to be harder for your products because you have a bigger product, but something like this one, I can send you the link. Here. Yeah, but something like this one, like you can just prop it up. It's like a foot square. So you could just prop it up on the shelf, like buy your product, take the first picture with that one on there, take it off, and then it's going to allow you to like sync up the white balance off. And then you're not guessing on the white balance too. Like it's going to be, because these were all taken at the same settings. So you should be able to sync and like, and batch edit instead of just opening each individual one to edit. Like, you could sync all of these, batch edit them all, and then open them all in Photoshop all at once. And it's going to save you a lot of time.
Okay. Now for when I crop, like for this picture right here, I kind of like the angle on there because it shows the thickness of it. But what do you think about the plant being cut off at the top?
Let's go back. Hold on. Sorry. I probably shouldn't have opened them all. It's going to take a minute. Okay. Oh, I think they're all open. Okay. No, maybe not. Okay. Yeah, I would probably just move the plant for the one that's like to the side, because that looks a little, well, I don't know. You can kind of.
No, you can be honest. Like, should I have the plant in there or no?
You could.
I don't know what's distracting and what's not,
I think it's kind of distracting. So maybe for like the profile view, I think this plant is a little distracting then. So I would probably just move it for the profile view. But like, for like this one, it's fine if this was a little higher, but yeah. So, but yeah, these are so much better. And then these are like the detail shots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's,
You see all the
I think
nail
that's
holes
good.
in my wall?
Oh, those are easy to fix. You can just do a little like,
Would that
I'll
be
show
the
you real
content
quick.
aware thing?
No, you can actually just like, if you have like a little nail hole, you can actually just zoom in on it and then go to your healing, the spot healing tool, and then just make the brush size the size of the hole, and just click over it like that, and it'll get rid of it just like that.
No. What is that called? The healing tool?
That's the spot healing brush tool.
Yeah, that wall, poor wall. My husband's like, why are you putting so many holes in the wall?
Yeah. So no, I think you know, and then like with this one, you just, you know, just crop it in. I mean, you could even crop in a little closer just to get the shelf out of it, because I think the shelf is distracting then. Okay. And just crop in like real close on it, and you know, and then you have like a nice detail just to show like the detail and the grain of the wood and the brush strokes and everything.
I want them to be, you know, I want them to know that it's not a perfect, I mean, it's the brush, you know, the paint detail or whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's good. And then, you know, like this one I would just lighten up a little bit, because I think it's a little, this one would just happen to be a little darker than the other ones. And then lighten it up and crisp it.
So honestly, I could just use your actions, right? For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, you should be able to just use the actions. You know, the only thing with like the actions is sometimes like if you play like the Let There Be Light and it's too bright or something, you just pull down the opacity. But you know, like when you're looking at your images, like I would just, you know, the first one that you edit, you just want it to be consistent with it, which I didn't white balance this or anything. So, I mean, but you just like, you kind of go back and just make sure that it's consistent with the other ones, which this one isn't because we didn't white balance it. But, you know, like I usually would edit a listing at a time. So like that listing is, you know, and if you're using the gray card, your white balance should be good on like all your images. So you should avoid getting kind of those like where everything's kind of a different color. I mean, colors are going to change throughout the day and stuff. So you can't, unless you're just in like a completely sterile environment where you don't have any natural light, you have no variables and stuff. Things are going to change things are going to change consistency from like one day to another. But like if you're using stuff like a gray card and you're syncing your white balance and you're, all right, where am I? Okay. I'm sorry. I was just closing all of those because I don't want my computer like freak out on me. You know, your images will be consistent enough that it's not going to, like you can see here, like I synced the editing over all of these, and yeah, there's little bits of variation, but just looking at these 6 images, even though these aren't fully edited, they look very consistent. I mean, I know that I'm looking in the same shop. I mean, where like these where they weren't synced, see how they look completely different? So like as long as you're batch editing things, you're gonna get a consistent look throughout, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So next week, I'd like to see you work on some of your compositions. The composition of the images and everything, but I think, really, you're there. So, I'd like to see you edit some images, and I want to see, like, completed images. So we can look at what's completed, and and then just I want to see like what your finished images look like. So
you want to see a before and an after?
Yeah, give me the before and afters, and then so like if we need to change anything, I can show you how I would do them. But I want to see like you should have all the tools now. So let's see what you have and what you come up with. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll stop this. I'll send you the link, but and if you have any questions while you're working on it, certainly, message me. And, if you have questions along the way as you're working on things, let me know. But, I mean, you've just leaps and bounds from like the dark, dingy images that you had before. I mean, look how nice and light and bright. I mean,
I know.
really,
I'm so excited.
you could be using these images almost straight out of camera. I mean, really, I don't think other than just bringing in some contrast and like sharpening them, these don't need anything. I mean, these are beautiful. They're nice and light and bright.
I think more interest, but that's more like it could be more interesting, I think. But that's more like the competition, I guess.
But see, you don't want, like when you buy a house and, they say, like, if you've ever watched like House Hunters and stuff like that, people always complain about like the crazy wall colors and like the weird stuff like that. It's because really the simpler things are, I mean, it's nice to have the lifestyle type photos to give them a sense of like, you can put this in your house, but you don't want to do too much to it to turn people off. Like, so I think that the staging you have here is very nice. It's simple and it's clean. It's giving them an idea of how they can use it in their house without making it so much you that they're going to think that it's not going to fit in their house.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's just like when you go to sell your house, a lot of times realtors will have you, they'll have you paint walls, they'll have you take down a lot of your family images. If you have like really crazy furniture, they'll even, bring in other furniture and stuff to help you stage your house because you want to make it like more neutral. So I think it's the same thing with like selling stuff. Yes, like the lifestyle images are great because it gives them a story and it gives them, a feeling, it goes in the house and everything. But on the other hand, you also have to be careful not to make it so, much to fit into, that house that they're going to think, oh, well, that doesn't go in my house at all. Where these are very nice and simple. It's not, it's not too much, but it still gives them that homey feel. So I think these are perfect.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm always worried about overdoing it and then not just having it on a plain, making it blah. Because I've looked through Etsy and, like I'm trying to incorporate
some of these people just have like way too much going on. Like, I mean, there's way too much going on in this image. There's way too much going on in this image. Like, it's cluttered. So, this isn't horrible, but it's still kind of cluttered. I mean, they have like a bunch of stuff on the shelf and then it's like, well, what are they selling? Are they selling like the shelf? Are they selling this coffee sign? So, I mean, for you, it's very clear like what you're selling. It's not, it's just.
I'm trying to pick props or whatever that kind of go with each sign.
Yeah.
I've been so random. Oh, just let me pick this vase or whatever, and.
Right. No, you don't want it to be too much. You want it to be just enough. Like, it's nice. This is,
that's really
not,
nice.
There's the cute little vase, but it's not, it actually looks kind of out of focus. So it's not like wonderful, but as far as the staging goes, it's not distracting. So you want to give them an idea without distracting them.
Okay.
So I think you're on the right track. You've really come like total like leaps and bounds. So, I will send you the link to this call. Go ahead and schedule your call. You can even be later in the week. I opened a bunch of times. Things are kind of crazy. My mother-in-law watches the girls and she's getting like a bunch of tests and stuff done. So, think my life's crazy regardless. So I'll just fit it around what other people can do.
If I ever pick a time that's not good for you, let me know. I understand. Okay. Life gets in the way.
No, it should be good. Okay. Well, you were on there. I want to see your finished product. So, edit at least one product for me, so I can see the befores and afters, just so I can give you any last suggestions on your editing and your staging and all of that. But I think, I mean, you're ready. I mean, if you try to reach perfection, you're never going to get it. So, I mean, you're at the point where you are doing so much better than a lot of Etsy shops. Like, you just need to get your stuff listed so you can start making some money.
I know. My husband's like, stop spending money.
Yes. So you are there. Like, I'm giving you the okay.
Thank you. And I do have 2 questions.
Yes.
I'm wanting to do the cover banner. So I may reach out to you this week to help with, because my logo, my signature that I made it in the Silhouette program, but I need to figure out how to do it in Illustrator. But then I also want to do the flat lay that you and I think Laura were working on.
Yeah.
But I thought I had a white foam board, but I can't find it. So I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow. But if you'll be able to help me out with that, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay. And then
just let me know. I'll be around tomorrow. I will be in the office all day, and then I think my mother-in-law's gonna take the girls either on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, since she couldn't watch them today for me. So I'll be around.
Okay, yeah, it probably won't be, tomorrow. It'll probably be Wednesday. And then I have a random question for you. I have a photo when my daughter got her ears pierced.
Okay.
But there's a horrible person in the background with like a skull shirt. If I send it to you, will you look and see if you can quickly do something with it? Does that make sense? Paige, hello.
Hello?
Hey, sorry.
That's okay. I went away for a minute. Okay. Okay, so there's a picture of your daughter with her ears pierced?
Yes, when she first got her ears pierced. But there's someone in the background with a horrible, like, scary skull shirt. It's like photobombed on it. Can I send it to you? And can you look at it real quick and see if you can do something to it? Like, literally, like a 2-minute job. If it's longer than 2 minutes, then don't worry about it. But it's just a beautiful picture of her, but it's ruined by this random person.
Yeah, no problem. Send it to me.
Okay, thank you. All right, Paige. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.